Hey there, I am Joe, and I'm here doing a DM thing. I've been doing the DM GM for quite a few years. It started off when we had D&D First Edition, and when Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was a big deal, and we all ran down to buy the books. So today I've moved off, and we're running games in Pathfinder 2E. And I want to put together this series. This is going to be pretty specific and to the point. What I want to do is share some ideas that I've come up with, some helps to maybe newer GMs, or for that matter, any GMs that just want a little refreshing. Stuff that I've learned along the way that makes the game more fun. The whole idea is to have this game be fun, and everything I do is about that. What can I make? How can I make it more fun for me? How can I make it more fun for the players? So, the format I want to do here is to have not a heck of a lot of talking like you're seeing right now, but have I want to put out an idea, and I want to then show real gameplay, live gameplay that I've recorded from my group and see how that plays out. So it's kind of like get a concept and then watch to see how it plays out, and then you can decide that worked out well or that was a dumb idea or whatever you want to do with it. So um, occasionally, like today, I'm gonna have somebody on with me, and today I have brought in one of our players, Scott. And welcome, Scott, and thank you for being the guinea pig for the first one of these
I'm
shows. So
excited to do it. It'll be a lot of fun.
cool. Now we got to have some background. So Scott is part of a group of player characters. There's five of them in this group on our campaign. And the campaign that they were doing on this game that we recorded was they were tracking down a nefarious character, Maka Slider, who is a spirit Naga. And this had been going on for game after game. And they'd finally gotten to finding out where this Naga hung out. And in the forest, this darker forest, and they'd gotten in there and they were starting to experience this environment where Maka was. So I don't know, Scott. I would say that going into this thing, that it's important to understand for the concept that we're about to talk about, that this isn't just a walking through the forest random encounter. This is there's been a buildup and there's some tension going on here.
Well, yeah, the experience as a player was that we were traveling to this place to go after this nefarious character and to find a way to defeat him. We've met him a couple of times in the past, and he has cleaned our clocks. He's killed a
Mm.
couple of characters. He's almost killed a couple of other characters, just to the point where they were almost dead. Um, so we already have some bad blood and some frustration because we haven't been able to complete the quest. So we've now entered this forest, and we really don't know what's going on. And this is where Joe introduces a very interesting concept that changes the way we play the game.
All right. So with that, let me introduce the concept for this episode. So I want to talk about friend versus foe. That is, you can run your encounters, and sometimes it's pretty darn obvious. There's a big red dragon, and he's attacking you. That's a foe. Or there's a paladin walking up and saying, "I would like to help you with your quest. Here is some potions," and that's a friend. But what if it isn't clear? What if there is a person that might be helpful, but well, let's take a look. What you're going to see here, what we're seeing here is Roll20 for one thing. If you're not familiar with that, that's a virtual tabletop, and that's the one that our group uses. And then the reason what you're seeing has a lot of darkness on it, if you're not familiar with the mechanisms here, is this is using the fog of war, and so that because the party is in a dark forest that they cannot see past the thick wall of trees, really all they're able to see is the path. And in this case, for most of this video anyway, you'll see the player view, which is just letting them see what's on the path. So that's why it's a little disorienting there. I want to jump into this, and we'll start off with this friend versus foe concept that I'm using. We're going to start off watching the play. You'll see how this person this friend or foe gets introduced to the party, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, you come around the corner and you're pretty quiet, but somewhere along the lines, somebody makes a bit of a noise, and this guy here is still talking, and the other guy kind of like holds up his hand and says, "Wait a minute, what was that? What did I hear?" And so this guy is he's a leshy. You may not have actually seen this type of leshy before, but you probably heard of them. He's clearly a living plant, and his hands are like fly traps, and his face is also resembling a fly trap as well. He's a fly trap leshy, and the guy he's arguing with is a um, he's a human. I think he's a human anyway. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a human, and he's dressed in a cloak that, and he has a walking staff that's decorated, kind of giving off the vibe of a user of magic, a wizard or a sorcerer or something to that effect. And the wizard guy is kind of leaning back like this, kind of being yelled at by the leshy, and the leshy's kind of in his face. Uh, it seems to be like cross-examining him or something like that, asking hard questions. So, but as I said, the wizard kind of saw you guys or heard you first, and then looked your direction and holds up his hand, and the leshy stops talking and turns around and looks at you as well.
Kind of weird though. They're just wandering around. They don't know each other. He's questioning the mage. What? Why don't we ask the mage what his purpose is in being here?
That might be a good idea. Before I do tell you what we know about the disturbance, I'm a little more curious about this fellow over here, and I'll gesture towards the mage person and say, while I wouldn't be as pressed to doubt the nature of a representative of the forest, so to speak, I am somewhat curious about why you simply want to study what's going on here. Were you going to attempt to stop what's going on, or are you simply watching?
I do not seek to intervene in any way. So no, I do not intend to stop. I do not know what's going on here, but I am a. It's complicated, but I'm a historical observer, and uh, there is there are energies here that I'm interested in, and I am interested in observing and learning. But no, I'm not interested in shedding blood, and I am not interested in having my blood shed. I am interested in defending myself and observing.
Well, I'm okay with the wizard observing our progress. Perhaps he'll be able to add additional worth along the way.
All right. I mean, I'm fine with it. I just was trying to figure out the proposition there, but
Yeah, me too.
Keep your enemies close.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Well,
Polymorph.
Well, what should we call you, wizard?
He says, "You may just call me Goss."
So, okay. So, what we'd had here is, and just a little background, this, we're seeing the group coming in. We were short a player this night, but what we've got present is a cleric, a thief, and a champion is their strong arm, and then also there is a fighter which is Caddis, and Scott plays Caddis on this game. So that's and Caddis had a big role in this, so we're lucky to have Scott here for this. So okay, so Scott, the first thing that's come up is they've met these two characters. One of them is taken off. How's the scene getting set up as far as friend and foe? What's going through the mind of the PCs at this
So
point?
traditionally, when we played the game, an NPC was basically they're very thin. They didn't have a lot of depth to the character. One of the things that's unique about Pathfinder, not that we're paid by Pathfinder, but a lot of the things that's unique about Pathfinder is that we are able to flesh out our characters more robustly because they have skills and feats and skill feats and all kinds of different things. So you really can enhance your character to be more fulfilling. And we've come into this situation, and this is where Joe's introduced this new individual, and he's talking to a Leshy, and we don't know whose side he's on, if anybody's. And we're trying to make the decision as to whether or not we should include him in the party. He's asked to join us, but he hasn't really specified that he's on our side. He's an observer. He's been pretty vague, and we have decided as a group to allow him to come with us. So
Yep, and from a DM standpoint, this is best case. You know, the whole point was to get. I wasn't trying to deceive the party. I wanted them to be questioning and a little on edge, and basically to add a whole nother dimension that has really nothing to do. Of course, they don't know if it has anything to do at this point with the underlying campaign and theme. This is just an entirely different dimension that runs parallel to their campaign that they're
and if you
doing.
think about in our old systems of playing, we would go from encounter to encounter to encounter. So it was typically battle, recovery, battle. In this situation, we're having more of this puzzle, and in this case, it's a puzzle of trying to identify the intentions of a character that we don't know anything about, which is brand new for all of us. We've never had to do that before, so it makes it very interesting to play the game.
Yeah. All right. So let's play forward a little bit, or play the video forward a little bit, and see a little bit more about how this concept develops.
Yeah, you're not getting an.
You
That's not happening.
guys are so suspicious. It's
I know, it's crazy. It's like things go wrong.
Well,
all
he
the
he
time.
didn't really, yeah, he didn't really, you know, come across as helpful.
Yeah, it's not
I
saint
guess.
goss. It's just goss. I think that was a word we were using. Worthless.
worthless. Well, he never did. He never did promise to be useful. So
Well,
in his defense.
I know.
He promised to be useful by not getting in our way and
Yeah,
also
that was
not.
that was his, and he is knocking it out of the park.
Yes, he is.
So
Okay.
now it's his time.
Okay. He assesses the situation and sees Darv running down the path and steps back to get out of his way.
He does what?
At that as well.
Moves out of the way of Darv so Darv can run up to the fight.
He waves at him. Perfect.
Caddis wants to run in and get some of this, so she's gonna run in and jump up and climb the wall.
I'm sorry.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Are
I'm
you
going
sure?
to fire my crossbow.
Well, no, but first of all, you've got to decide if you really don't want to run up and climb up the wall.
But I don't want to climb up the wall.
Well, then
I think you should.
Then you have to roll a DC 30 saving throw.
What?
Oh, sorry, DC 28.
Okay, who's fucking with me?
the wizard.
Oh, I'm gonna put 2 right in his face. Okay, what is
No,
it?
I think
Fortitude?
you're right up the wall.
Yeah.
What is it? Will?
Well, let's see. It's a. Let me look it up. Yeah, it is saving throw of will. Yes.
And what was the DC again?
23.
Oh, you're pretty willful. You'll be fine. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So you decide maybe that's not the best idea.
Now I have to make the decision of where to shoot my bow.
Might not have been him.
So can I tell where this compulsion has come from?
No.
Oh, I tell you, this is the best part of the game right here.
That's just because you're a sadist, dude.
I can actually feel Scott's anger right now. Yeah, Bill must be basking in it right now.
Yeah, it's a very weird place you're in. There's all kinds of weird things happening, that's for sure.
Huh.
Don't worry, all this is an illusion that Wizard's been watching us deal with. So,
But you don't have much time. You only have 2. You've only got 3 actions. So.
Okay. So with my first action, I'm going to point my bow at my good friend over here and say, "Want to die?" With my second action,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll change weapons.
Oh, okay.
For a second, I thought you were going to say for your second action, you were going to make him die.
Well, I don't know he did it, but I'm guessing he did it. But now I want to hit him with a sword really hard. So what's his AC?
Are you attacking him?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh.
Roll your attack.
you're really attacking that guy?
Yeah, I'm really attacking him.
You don't know it was him.
I don't know it was him. But I'll kill anything that has to be killed to get to whoever did it. So if it's not him, I'm really sorry.
Well, at least Core can't see you doing this. I don't think. I'm over here.
Yeah, you're in a different part of the woods right now.
Yeah, I have to look up. This might be an issue with my clothes.
We got front row seats here, Bulgy.
Yeah, let me see.
Caddis just inexplicably attacked an innocent person, but yeah.
Yeah, my cleric might have serious issues with that.
Yeah.
20.
That's a miss.
That's a miss? Okay.
Yes.
Second attack.
Unlawful too.
That's nice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
How about that one?
That'll hit. Did you take the second? Does that take the second attack out?
Yes.
Yeah.
The negative, yes.
Okay. Because you rolled a 17 plus 16. Okay. Yes, that's a hit.
And that's it for Caddis.
And that's 12 points. Okay. That's it for Caddis. Well, that was a very interesting move that Caddis did. Just
Yes, it is.
yeah. Okay.
Who knows who made me do that? Probably whoever possessed me.
All right, so that was probably the one of the places where things got really came to a sharp point that something was going on. But remember, it's not necessarily, at least I was hoping it wasn't super obvious what was going on because remember we're in this strange place and they've had all these dealings with Maka and they know he's this the arch enemy Maka Slider. They know he's in the area somewhere, and so I was hoping it wasn't like obvious what was going on. But there's still a lot of doubt. So, uh, but here's one thing I want to point out. See, so we just saw Caddis have a had to make a saving throw and um, one of the things that you have to be careful with as a GM is to never take away a player's free agency. But in a sense, a charm spell is doing exactly that, is taking away the free agency, which always gets a strong reaction out of a player. Man, sometimes you don't want to lose players over that. But anyway, so it seemed like everyone was having a good time, except maybe you, Scott. So I mean, is this a painful memory, or is this something were you
Well, I
actually
don't
enjoying
have
the game at that point, or
PTSD,
what was going
but
on?
at the same time, so this is one of those interesting things because we still have this question. We don't know who cast the spell on me. And because I saved versus it, I was able to resist it. Um, but yes, it drew a strong emotion because somebody else was controlling my character. So um, uh, that was disturbing and frustrating and still good because now I was all ramped up and wanted to kill something really bad. So I think that on top of the whole thing that we've got other things happening and now suddenly there's some weird force intervening and we don't know where it's coming from, but we suspect it's coming from our wizard, the NPC. We don't know how to react. And that's one of the things that's interesting about this friend or foe situation is that everybody has a different opinion on what to do. Nobody's really sure what to
Mhm.
do next. So it really stops us from functioning as a group really well because we're all confused. Some of us want to kill him. Some of us think he's okay. Some of us want to, just deal with the battle. And as from the player's perspective, a lot of the players don't know that this has happened yet. So they're seeing my character react and they don't understand why. So there's all this uncertainty around us, and that makes it exciting, even though the encounter really at this point isn't that exciting. There's nothing really major happening. We're fighting, but we're not. It's not tooth and nail. Nobody's about to die. It's all starting, but it's very very
Mhm.
exciting because there's all these other elements of uncertainty in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. And this brings up one point that I want to cover in at least one other episode, which is many moving parts all at once. In this case, there is this whole spider battle going on, which we're not spending any time talking about in this series, in this video. But yeah, there's that. There's this other dynamic of this questionable character, and there's actually a whole nother type of threat that comes up in the middle of it. So there's all these moving parts, which as a GM is a little challenging to keep going, but that's part of the fun. It's also challenging on the players, and uh, boy, the game time goes fast when when you're doing
And
that.
you're weaving
So
the
anyway,
story. You're weaving this amazing story that we're going to remember afterwards. And I think that's one of the things that shows he had a great game when everyone spends the rest of the time talking about what happened because they're invested. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and hopefully everybody watching this understands that, or if you don't get it, the whole idea is as a group. In this case, we had four players present that night plus the GM. We are all collaboratively making a story, and if you're trying to make a game where you're the GM telling the story to the characters, you're that in my opinion, you're doing it wrong. The idea is to put the framework out there and have everyone's helping to build the story. So. Um, okay, so let's see where this goes. The interesting thing is, at this point, the group uh, does not decide to do away with this questionable character. They're actually I would say skilled players. They're playing their characters properly, and they themselves as players still aren't sure what's going on, which is, in my mind, that's the beauty of it.
I think it would be best if you did not take a more active role. It might be best for you to go. If anything, just to keep from causing my party unease.
Hmm. Yes. Okay. No, he's willing. Does I would like to continue to observe, and yes, I will participate uh, to the best of my abilities. So.
All right.
To make up for Caddis lashing out at you, if you'd like, I could at least patch up your wound.
Not necessary.
Hmm.
More
How
questions
can
there.
If yes, by all means, that would be fine.
And then we're
I'm
back
going
to
to publicly apologize for striking the mage. If indeed, I'm going to say it exactly this way. I apologize if I was mistaken and you were not the enemy, but since you were in touch range, I struck out. And if I did so inappropriately, I certainly apologize. Would never want to hurt a fellow companion in our quest.
For sure. And he
If
didn't
you're not
touch you,
lying
by the
to
way.
your teeth, you little bastard. Oh, I didn't say that part.
Okay, so this is where things took a turn, and I was thinking things are getting really weird. And I love it when it's not what I expect, not the script I had in my head. That the party is so confused about this character, they're actually healing him and assisting him. And Scott Caddis actually apologized to Goss for striking out. So in my mind, it's like these guys are totally confused. This is just awesome. So I don't know how what were you thinking as far as an apology from
So
Caddis?
all of us were uncertain of what the what this character Goss was doing. And we were not only uncertain of him, we were uncertain of ourselves. We didn't know really what we were doing. And that's, I mean, this split us up into different opinions, but nobody was certain, including myself. So Caddis offered an apology, but it did come with a caveat at the end, because it was, "I'm
Hmm.
sorry that I hit you, but if you're lying, I'm going to cut you into tiny little bits and feed you to my dog." So there was there was the apology, but also a threat kind of tagged onto the end of that. And then Core, who is the champion, he is, I think he's a champion paladin, but champion
Champion, yeah,
champion.
and
So he's a
yep, you have
champion,
to eat.
and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is feeling like we did something wrong to this guy, and so he offers healing.
Hmm.
And the rest of us are like supporting him and trying to find a way to work with him still, even though in fact he may and actually does turn out to be not a good guy, and part of our problem that we have to deal with. So so this made the game really interesting. There's always something, because of all these moving parts that Joe is woven into the story, that we're involved in, because there's all these other conversations that aren't completed. So while my turn might not be going on right now, I am tearing through my book, you know, with all my tabs on it, trying to find out what my skills and feats and skill feats and my background and my history and my origin, what can I do to try to get some intelligence about this thing. And that's what everybody else is doing too. So we're all in. So I thought it was great,
Hmm.
and I thought it made the time pass really quickly, and at the same time got people very emotionally involved, especially me. So I was
Yep.
definitely excited to participate.
Yeah, it's always fun when you see, even while you were, it was your, turn, and you were the one where the action was happening. The other players have their heads in their hands, or are in other ways expressing great stress. So, and uh, just for the benefit of anybody that's curious about it, the uh, the villain was a Gosreg, which is one of the monsters in the Pathfinder Bestiary 2. I did buff him up for the game, but that was they're up against. And if you want to see how it played out and how it ended up, I am going to publish that thread that went through several games as a separate video, and I'll put a link out for that if you just want to see the story. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We're going to leave it at that and do a different concept with some other actual gameplay for the next episode. So, Scott, thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time to give us your insights here.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it. It's been a lot of fun.